This video covers any power steering service on a 2008 to I believe 2011, mid 2012 Ford Focus. It might cover some previous years, but I don't remember having the problem. Anyway, this vehicle was brought in, no power steering at all, a little over a year ago. Had a bad line, actually had two bad lines. So we replaced the lines and still had issues, so we put a pump in it. And that seemed to take care of it. However, shortly thereafter, the rack went out. So we ended up putting a new rack in it. And over time, the pumps would fail. So we figured out, this is kind of our ignorance, but because we'd never ran into this before, apparently some of these are just very, very difficult to get bled. This time around, what we did was on the return line, which is right down there with that band clamp on it, or hose clamp, it has this little restrictor valve in it, which you can't even really see because it's so small. There, I'll set it down. Basically, that tiny little hole is all that Ford thinks you need, excuse me, my voice is going out, is all you need to have for the return line going into the power steering pump. And this apparently, especially with remanufactured pumps, makes it nearly impossible to bleed, even if you use a vacuum bleeder. Because it went to a different shop because we were having so much trouble with it. We let this other shop see if they could fix it. And they put a pump on it, and lo and behold, a couple months later, it's failed again, pushing fluid out the top. So this is what we did, and come to find out, through a little bit of research, this is what a lot of people did. We cut that hose off and removed that valve. Then we installed a new pump this time, and we filled the fluid reservoir up. And you could actually see this time the fluid going back down through the return line and filling the system because it wasn't getting airlocked by this little valve. Now, the tool I used is OEM Tool 37070. I got that at AutoZone. It's a pretty decent price. I think it was around 50 bucks. And what we did, after we filled the system up with as much fluid as it would take without turning the car on, then we vacuumed it out using that. Then we topped it off a little bit more. Then we went in, started the car, while an assistant watched the level here and made sure this reservoir stayed full. It went down very little because the system was almost completely full. It only takes like a half a quart of fluid. It's a very, very small power steering fluid reservoir, and the system itself does not take that much fluid. It's a very strange power steering pump setup. Once we did that, the system was immediately bled, no noise, no whining. The problem usually wouldn't rear its head until the next morning, so we set it overnight, let it set in the shop. Yeah, it's in the mid-50s here, and started it up this morning. Absolutely no noise. So, hopefully, if you're having trouble with your Focus, and it's just eating power steering pumps, and you just can't get all the air out, remove that stupid valve out of that line. Replace it. Throw it away. Put a regular line on there. I'm sure it solved some non-existent engineering problem, but hey, we're talking about a company who put out a known bad transmission after this generation of Ford Focuses, and those things, you can't even give them away. So hopefully this helps you fix your own crap, and have a good day.